there is a lot of people and athletes that are going to try to be MMA fighters. In Demi Lovato's case, it's just word of mouth from Jay Glazer. So not to be misleading, didn't come from Demi Lovato. But Jay Glazer said on TMZ Sports that Demi Lovato goes to his gym all the time. For those who don't know, Jay Glazer, American sports reporter, does reporting for the NFL. Before that, he was a big New York sports reporter.
Subway spokesperson.
I think he's a Subway spokesperson
Former,
too.
maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while.
In his free time, his freelance gig is to train NFL players mostly and celebrities and stuff like that in MMA over at his gym, which is a very popular gym. So TMZ caught up with him, and he was talking about one of those stars being Demi Lovato, who can do some damage, and he did say that she was interested in an MMA fight. So again, from Jay Glazer, not Demi herself, here's the video from TMZ Sports.
Now I know Demi Lovato. I've seen you train here. I've seen the video.
Oh yeah, she's a bad little lioness. Isn't
She looks legit.
She would, yeah, oh yeah.
How would she do in the
asses.
UFC?
She'd whip a lot of people's asses.
Really?
Absolutely. She throws
At
elbows.
135?
She's smaller than that. She throws elbows better than most of the UFC guys that come in there.
Really?
And, oh yeah, she's
I
more
saw
violent
those
than
elbows.
most. And then she gets mad if we don't kind of get after her harder. She's definitely one of our fighters, without a doubt.
She
is
could
one
fight
of
in
our fighters.
Bellator and UFC, no problem.
Without it, she has the mindset. I wish I could bottle up her mindset and sell it to all the guys in the UFC and Bellator and half the guys in the UFC. She's a bad little lioness, dude.
She's crazy
Don't
successful.
mess with her.
Crazy successful in what she does, but will we ever see her do an MMA fight, like an amateur fight or a pro fight?
She's brought up to us a million times for but she has that mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, she hits. You see how hard she hits.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. I'm working out with Michael Strahan one day, and he and I are sitting there in Vegas, and I do something. My shirt comes up, and there's a big bruise. And he's like, "Oh man, Chuck do that to you?" Talking about Chuck Liddell. I'm like, "No, it was Demi Lovato." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Demi Lovato." He's like, "Demi Lovato." I said, "Yeah, dude. Demi kicked me right
Lovato
here."
bruised you up.
She gave me the worst bruise I've had so far. She kicked me right here.
Oh wow.
And gave me, because her hips are great. She's a violent little bastard.
So again, I can't reiterate this enough. But as Jay Glazer said, that she's brought it up a million times. I mean, you want to talk about a draw for whatever it might be, a Bellator, like whatever the other leagues of MMA there is at the amateur and professional level, that would bring in some viewers. And it's not just Demi Lovato, because the one who's actually serious about looking into an MMA career and has started to train for it is America's most loved defensive end, Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy, since 2014, where he had a fantastic year on the field with the Carolina Panthers, and then, of course, the off-the-field incidents that brought him into light and had many, many pundits go off on him. Signed by the Dallas Cowboys, did not play well at all with the Cowboys, now not playing in the NFL anymore. Greg Hardy's quote in terms of starting an MMA career: "I'm very focused and excited to start my MMA career. I'm going to do this the right way. I can assure you of that." And that's true. It's the ex-NFL defensive end.
So outside of the assumed, or I guess the easy disdain for the guy because he's a woman beater, and okay, alleged. I don't know if he's ever been convicted, so I'm sorry, Greg. But alleged woman beater and other issues. I think he had a cocaine charge, all that stuff.
He did. Actually,
which actually I care about a little bit less, significantly less. But so with things like that, it's easy to be like, "Oh, I hate this guy. He's not gonna do it right." So I wonder if that's where his quote is coming from in saying, "I'm gonna do this right. I assure you of," because people may see him as someone who's not serious, who's just trying to restore some level of an athletic career because he can't play in the NFL anymore, because every time he'd probably step on the field, he'd probably get booed, or probably locker rooms would hate him, all that type of stuff. So I understand. I just wonder, I mean, it's possible for, in my opinion, I'm gonna keep saying, bad guys to maybe be good at another sport. We've seen this before. I don't like the guy. I think he maybe needs help even. I'll be a lib on that. He needs help. He beats women. So
allegedly.
He needs to, allegedly. He needs to straighten that out. And if he has, I don't have anything against the guy trying another sport. T.O. could have played in NBA, I believe. He's a great basketball player. There's a lot of crossover sports for guys. I think Hardy's listed at 285. At least the last time he was listed.
He'd have to cut a little bit of weight because he's going to go into heavyweight. The one thing that I agree with you that sports can cross over, because we've seen Deion Sanders do this before, and we've seen Michael Jordan be bad at baseball, but again, he still batted, 222? He batted a lot better than most people would transferring to sports. I'm not saying he was good at it, but at the minor league level, take any slate of basketball players except for, I'm trying to think of the ones who played Well, Tim Tebow's played every sport. Regardless, my whole point being is I don't think MMA is the one that does cross over. Because my feeling is, and I could be wrong, I have never stepped into an octagon. The farthest MMA experience I've had in my life is doing a couple of MMA workouts with friends that have gyms here in LA, and I can tell you that even sparring at the 10% level of speed is brutal.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm not going to make up anything that I've stepped into an octagon. I've done boxing workouts before. I've sparred in boxing. That hurts too, and I've done that at like 40%. So, my experience with it is no, I cannot be an MMA fighter. However, when it comes to like these super athletes, I think in their head, I could be wrong. I don't like speaking for people at all. However, I'm going to.
Go.
They look at it and go, well, I played one high-speed contact sport like football, right? I think I can last in the octagon. I think maybe Greg Hardy can take a hit. I don't know if they realize how much conditioning, how a different style of conditioning, cutting weight and making weight, and how much strenuous pressure that is on your body and your mind mentally and physically. Mentally and physically is really the key there. So I think they think they could step into the octagon or into a Bellator's ring or a boxing type of thing, and they think that it's going to be easier than it is. Now, and I say that because all the WWE guys, even Brock Lesnar, who can't strike if his life depended on it, but was a recruited college-level champion in wrestling. So a form of mixed martial arts in a way, because his ground game is very good. And CM Punk, who was just a WWE guy, came over and got made a fool of in the octagon. So I'm not saying that Greg Hardy can't do it. I'm not saying that Demi Lovato can't do it. I think they look at it, though, and I think they need to spend way more time in training than any of the guys who have done it in the past. I think if Greg Hardy's serious about it, I think it's 2 or 3 years of training.
I don't have a camera right now. It's Shakori in the booth. But yeah, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Yeah. No, this is not a sport you just jump into, and it's not no benefit of the doubt. Demi Lovato is a singer. She is an actor. She's from the Disney Channel. I would wager that I have been punched in the face more times than she has, and I religiously run away from conflict. I do not. I am small and pretty. I do not do well in combat.
You are pretty.
I just don't, and I'm aware of that. And to think that you can just walk in an octagon as someone who has used their voice and their face to make a career, and you can walk in an octagon, people that have literally been getting punched in the jaw since they were 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, have made a lifetime out of this, that know how to take these like, it's almost insulting to MMA fighters that you just think that you can. Are you kidding me? Like, Greg Hardy's running up and down the field with what? At 15-second bursts at a time, with pads on, with the game plan, with 11 people around him. It's so much different than going in an octagon one-on-one where that person wants to fuck you up and nothing more, nothing less. It's absurd to think that these, like, and yeah, Greg Hardy's a freak athlete, but everyone's got a plan to get punched in the mouth, man.
That's true. I like that a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I do agree that it's not likely. There's maybe 1% of people that can do it, that you wouldn't expect could do it. And I don't know if he's that guy. And he could be in the 99. Obviously, that's the easy point. He could be in the 99 real easy. I don't know what his mindset is. So that's what I'm saying. I wonder if his quote means, I'm not taking this as just I can do it because I'm an athlete. I don't know.
Right.
I'm sure if a reason you'll get paid for it is because everyone's going to watch. And there's going to be a huge percentage of people that are going to be like, I can't wait for this ass who breaks the law and beats on women to get knocked out. And he knows that.
Right. I think, well, you both make fantastic points in that realm, and way ballsier than I am, at least in that way, because you guys are right entirely, and I agree with both of you on that. The other thing I wanted to talk about really quick before is, I've heard of charity boxing, right? Like, you've seen, and I can't believe I'm using this example, Mitt Romney did it. Like, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
He was a presidential candidate back in 2012, right, Chair? Am I right? Yes.
Yeah,
Not that long
2012.
ago. Yeah. And
Lost in the election with Obama.
he did charity boxing, right? And we've seen that happen. Mario Lopez has charity boxed before. I've been to one of those charity boxing events. I have never seen in my life, and I think we should start it just so people start to understand some of these celebrities that might be considering it, maybe some of these athletes, charity MMA. I really want to see somebody just for fun at a 10% speed, 10% of the level of striking with helmets on. Please spar Anderson Silva at just one point. And I'm not using Anderson Silva because Anderson Silva at 60 would win a charity MMA fight compared to anybody at 20 if you have never fought in an octagon or a cage or anything like that before, once that door closes behind you, I would literally poo myself. I wouldn't do that with 10 other men on the field, because in football, at least there's 10 other guys who might have my back. Nobody has my back. A cage has my back.